The fact is that we have clean water. We've had it for 30 years. This is a boondoggle. This is a straw man to funnel money to the left. Listen, look at what's going on. Our waters and streams are cleaner. And by the way, one last thing. 99% of the climate scientists pretending they know what the models will do in 20 years, they can't predict the weather next week. So let's make the climate better, sure, but not on the burden of the American people and business.
You might recognize that voice. That was Ed Martin, who was on Fox earlier today debating this executive decision, this executive order to roll back some of the Obama-era climate control changes that he made, which were tighter regulations on, burning coal and just a whole range of issues. And we've at least started to move back toward a little sanity. Maybe not far enough, according to some. We're joined right now by Marlo Lewis. My apologies. He's a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, covering issues like global warming and energy policy. Marlo, how are you, sir?
Very good, Mark.
Hey,
glad to be on your show.
Thank you for giving us some time today. I appreciate that. First of all, let me get your reaction to this decision by the Trump administration.
Well, I'm very pleased. I think you're right. It doesn't go far enough, but I think President Trump understands that. You can't swallow the whale in one gulp. But it makes significant headway. For example, it directs the Environmental Protection Agency to suspend, revise, or rescind both the carbon dioxide regulation for existing coal power plants, which basically, and natural gas power plants, that means the actual U.S. Fossil fuel generation fleet, and the rule for future, that is not yet constructed, power plants, and that was basically the heart and soul of the war on coal. It made it prohibitive to build a new coal power plant, and also accelerated the retirement of existing coal plants, and was basically just a death sentence pronounced on the entire industry, so that no one would ever want to invest in new coal generation again. So that is going to be upended one way or the other. That will take some time, though, because that means redoing regulations that have already been adopted. Other measures happen right away, like it directs the Department of Interior to end its moratorium. That means an indefinite suspension of leasing of coal mines on federal lands. That was done just by an administrative order, and so it can be repealed by the same stroke of a pen.
Well, I was thrilled to see him do it. I guess that, like here in the St. Louis area, the vast majority, I don't know if it's 70, 80, 90% of our energy comes from a coal-burning power plant that sits over here by the river, just south of St. Louis. And a lot of these changes were forced onto Ameren, Missouri, the company that runs these. And I'm wondering, for the most part, they probably already got programs underway either to comply with these regulations or they've spent millions of dollars chasing compliance with these regulations. I wonder, for some of these companies, I mean, a lot of this is going to end up being wasted money that now was unnecessary. Is that the wrong way to look at it?
No, you're absolutely right. But there's one silver lining in that cloud, which is that the states, including Missouri, which pushed back against these regulations, appealed to the Supreme Court to put a stay on the Clean Power Plan, which was the major threat. And in January it was February. Early February of last year, the court put a stay on the rule precisely so that states wouldn't throw more good money after bad, because the states challenging the Clean Power Plan believed it was legally flawed and that it would eventually go down, and they didn't want to spend a whole lot more money coming into compliance with something that they were trying to overthrow and believed that they would finally overturn. So they haven't lost as much money as they might have. thanks to departed Justice Scalia, who was really the leader in the Supreme Court in granting the stay of the Clean Power Plan.
Yeah, Marlo, let me ask you this. How quickly can some of these industries recover, though? I saw Fox News. I interviewed one of their reporters the other day who was in Hazard, Kentucky, in southeastern Kentucky, where their job market was decimated with all the coal mines closing down a few years ago. And actually, one of them was kind of rebooting because they needed a particular kind of coal from that mine. How quickly can the coal industry, for example, rebound once some of these rules are not impeding them anymore?
Well, it's not going to be overnight. I mean, I wish I could remember the exact figure, but it's just a huge amount of shareholder value. I think it was something like 90% was destroyed in the last few years.
Right.
And, of course, a lot of it was due to the fact that we have cheap natural gas, but not all of it. And again, I think it really makes a difference in terms of investor psychology, whether people believe the federal government exists just to enforce a rule of law, or whether the people believe the federal government is literally waging a war to bankrupt your industry. I mean, it just makes a climate that is so risky that hardly anyone will invest his money in it. And so that is going to change. And that at least means that to the extent that the economics of coal electric generation makes sense, there will be some prospect of renewal.
Good.
But I mean, an instant turnaround, no. But as you say, I mean, in a lot of those places in Appalachia, the coal jobs were really the backbone of the entire community's economy. And so when people could no longer work in the coal mines, then they could no longer make mortgage payments. They could no longer take their families out to restaurants. They could no longer, buy new clothes for the kids in the fall and so on. And so it had horrible ripple effects. And the Obama administration tried to pretend that, we're just talking about the compliance costs on the utilities directly involved. No, it's like saying that, we could wipe out the Hollywood movie industry and Los Angeles would be, the only people affected in Los Angeles would be the movie actors, and the directors. I mean, that's not the way it works. So anyway, this is very good news. It's really good news when the government basically says, no, our job is not to pick winners and losers. It is wrong for the government to target a particular industry for the sake of bankrupting it. That's not the American way. That's not going to happen anymore. And so, in time, I think if people finally see that Trump not only announces this, but that policies are really going to change, then that will invite people to start putting their money back into the traditional workhorse of American electric power generation.
I'm getting a breaking news alert from Fox that the president's live at the White House right now, where he has just officially signed that executive order rolling back some of these regulations. We're on the phone with Marlo Lewis, who is a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. Now, what this doesn't do, though, is affect the Paris Accords, for example. When we say there are a couple things they could have done to go a little further, is there the media would lead you to believe there's a debate in the Trump White House over that issue. What would you like to see done there?
There is, and a colleague of mine and I are. We hope that within a few days we will have out a paper making the case for Trump to keep his campaign promise and cancel America's participation in the Paris Agreement. I'm not so much concerned about the fact that this executive order doesn't include the Paris Agreement because, sometimes public policy has to be iterative. You don't try to do everything at once. But I am concerned that there are people in the White House or and in other agencies of the federal government who have Trump's ear, who are counseling him to stay in the Paris Agreement, and that, I think, creates the prospect of policy schizophrenia, or an attempt to split the baby, because all of these Obama-era climate regulations or energy suppression regulations that Trump wants to rescind are exactly what Obama promised the United Nations we would do under the Paris Climate Agreement.
Okay.
So the Obama administration types and their allies can claim that these are commitments the United States made. How dare Trump move against them? And so Trump has to bite the bullet and say, well, the Paris Agreement is actually a treaty, and Obama never submitted it to the Senate for a vote on ratification. And so, therefore, it's not binding on me. And to prove that, I'm going to withdraw from it. I really think it's not enough for him to just criticize the Paris Agreement or other administration officials. They actually have to match deeds with words.
And
that's
get it
the
done.
only thing that's politically persuasive, and withdraw from it.
Marlo Lewis, thank you so much. Competitive Enterprise Institute. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Yep. Have a great day.
Glad to be with you.
Thank you very much. Good information there. Appreciate getting him on the air to get his thoughts on that. Hopefully, Donald Trump keeps going. We'll have some sound from the president when we come back here. He's actually holding a news conference as we speak. We'll get to more of your phone calls. We'll talk a little bit about Prop P and that election that's coming up in Missouri here shortly. It's all coming up on The Mark Cox Show.
This hour of The Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
If it's that time of year, maybe you've already had a chance to crack your windows open. We've had some beautiful weather, unusual for late winter, early spring. Maybe you noticed that when you did it, the cord on the window won't hold the window up anymore, or you've got your seal broken when you go to lift the window up and you realize you see some fog in there inside of your double pane windows. That's when you have to think about replacing that, because it's going to cost you a lot in energy. Over the course of the summer or the winter, you'll have either heat or cold escaping out of those windows if they're not sealed. Window World can help you out. They've got high-quality windows at the right price. They're the home of the original $189 window, and they give you a lifetime warranty. All parts, all glass breakage, all labor. Even if your kid puts a baseball through the window, they're going to come out and fix it on their dime. You can't beat that. All you have to do is go to their website. You can call them at 314-993-1800 or go to windowworldstl.com.
Across St. Louis County, law enforcement has been stretched thin. As new challenges arise, police officers need more backup, tools, and training to keep us safe. That's why County Executive Steve Stanger is leading the effort to pass Proposition P.
We need Prop P because it saves lives. We really need to have 2 officers to a police car, which we can't afford right now. And we also need more police officers to police our community. And it will allow us to expand their training to better serve us. If we don't pass Prop P, we will not be able to afford essentials that the police departments throughout our region need to keep us safe.
By voting yes on Proposition P, we support our police.
We can keep our officers safe as they keep us safe.
On Tuesday, April 4th, vote yes on Proposition P.
Keeping St. Louis County families safe is the most important thing that we can do.
Paid for by STL Citizens for Safety. Ronald Battelle, Treasurer.
If you think trains will stop if they see a car on the tracks, you're right, they will. About a mile after they hit you. In 2015 alone, 230 people were killed at railroad crossings. Don't become the next fatality. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Your business is growing, which means now you need to hire more people.
Oh, the searching.
The emails.
Where do we start?
ZipRecruiter. Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, ZipRecruiter makes hiring simple. One click and your job is posted to over 200 job sites. Use ZipRecruiter's dashboard to easily screen and evaluate candidates and find the right hire fast. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. Now try ZipRecruiter free. Just click the banner now or go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Mark Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. President Trump keeping his promise to unwrap